Well, when the tour asked Jack and asked us if we could pull off 2 weeks in a row, obviously I wasn't thrilled about the first mid-July tournament. It's the Midwest, the toughest 2 weeks of the year are probably the 2 weeks we had a tournament. But you know what? The circumstances that they came to us with the thought that it would be great to keep the players in one spot once the John Deere Classic canceled. And they thought that with our facilities, our driving range, the golf course that we have, that we could pull it off. Being that I'm a stick, we immediately embraced the challenge and said, yeah, we'll pull this off. And you know what? We had the concept of saying we're going to do 2 different setups, 2 different green speeds, use different hole locations. They're going to let it go the second week, and we can get firm and fast and kind of give them a championship caliber golf course. But if the weather doesn't cooperate, that's a great theory, but it doesn't happen. Fortunately for us, the weather did cooperate. We got a couple of timely rains during the first event. Our green speed target for the first week was to try to be somewhere between 11.5 and 12.5, and we did that. We started the week at about 11.7, and we just trended upward that whole week. And then we were going to get the green speed up a little bit the following week and really try to firm it up more than anything, because firmness and wind gets these guys more than anything. When they can't control the spin, that's when you can get a little bit of high scoring and you can get them challenged. So we can't control the wind, but we can control the firmness. And we tried to do that the second week. Right. I would tell you that there's a lot that goes into that, though, because we have our targets from advanced weeks in the years past to get to the mid-13s to 14 area. And so when they first came to me and said, hey, we need to be at like 11 and a half the first week, it's just not possible to get where we wanted to be week 2. So we worked with the tour to do that. It worked out great. We had 2 great champions, 2 great weeks. Our staff really embraced it, and it was fun.
Who makes those decisions to speed up the greens, to lengthen the rough, to make the course what it is for each week?
For the most part, the PGA Tour makes those decisions on a weekly basis, and those guys are professionals. I've worked a lot of U.S. Opens and U.S. Women's Opens, and watched the USGA come in, and I've worked with the PGA Tour now for several events, and I will say that they just are so good at their job. They can do a great setup on a week-to-week basis. The one thing that we have at Muirfield Village in the Memorial Tournament is that we have the Jack factor, what we call it. I mean, he has a certain level of expectation. So when you look at our event on an annual basis versus a lot of other events, our rough's a little bit longer, our greens are a little bit faster, and we have a little bit, tougher test for the guys. And it's a good way for those guys to prepare for the U.S. Open on a regular basis because it's usually 2 weeks later. That was something that we had in mind when we did these 2 setups as well, though, because as much as we can say, okay, hey, the workday event's going to be just a regular tour event, you still have the Jack factor, and you have the PGA Tour rules officials saying, hey, we want to move it up on 14 a couple of days. How will he take that? And what if we move this whole location here? What if we go up a tee on number 8? Well, how will he take that? So the tour does make those decisions, but they work very, very closely with my staff, and they know that, if I have to, I'll say, well, Jack's not going to like that. I guess we'll have to get him involved, and then we usually win our battle there and get our way.